Hello, welcome back to the Jollymun Podcast, episode 16. This is going to be a fantastic 15 minutes, and I'll tell you a little story about my morning. So it started off, my first impressions of the morning were a slight downer. I looked out the window and there was frost on the garage roofs outside my establishment, and I remembered that my little pot plant that I leave outside, is dead. Now, because it cannot resist frost, and it frosted. So a little bit unfortunate, but I mean, it was a really pretty plant that I got, and I hope maybe it'll come back to life. I don't know. It was always a bit small, and it wasn't growing, and it kind of confused me because I was feeding it apples, and I was trying to, I was giving it little motivational spurs every morning, and it wasn't growing. Anyway, and then I looked at it, and I realised that it had a little kind of basket around its roots. So I think it was sort of made to look small and pretty, and it had been almost stunted, which is very unfortunate, of course. So I took off this little basket and left it on its merry way. However, it was thumped into the ground by a frost anyhow. All my efforts were, in the end, futile. And maybe all the efforts I have now are futile, because one day I'll be stumped into the ground by another other than, well, we don't really know what it is, but we call it death. But yeah, so that was a bit miserable. But I left my house and I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm gonna right my wrongs, and I'm gonna go buy some eggs from Tesco's, because I said I'd do that for my mum. And I get to Tesco's and there's a queue, and for God's sake, there's a queue outside Tesco's. Oh dear, dearie me. And anyway, so I stand in the queue, and there's people for some reason they when they're in queues they get really aggressive. They're being really unkind to each other, and they kept, elbowing. At least in conversation, they were kind of elbowing each other, which is, of course, very unkind. I arrived in the 9 to 10 slot a.m., where they were only admitting old people and whatever vulnerable ones. I'm not very vulnerable, and I'm young enough to not be considered old. So I didn't get in. Anyway, people start complaining because they've parked their car, and they're like, "Oh, well, what about parking my car?" I said, "Come on, you really? I promise you, madam, you're really not achieving anything by shouting. It's really not helping." The poor security guard. Well, I say poor. He's earning his money, but the security guard is just he's just doing what the shop has told him to do. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Even though the players make up the game, so I mean, you can do what you want with that. So I was like, alright, cool, I'll leave the Tesco car park. So off I walked, and now I do this thing where when I walk along the pavement, I make sure that I do not, I don't step on any cracks. I don't step on any cracks, because I'm trying to teach myself to live in the moment and enjoy, kind of have fun when you can. Have fun when you walk down the pavement, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you should try it. And so then I went to the next. Oh, the phone's going. 1 second. No. Quick little call from my grandparents. So, I mean, I can't believe it. I was just talking to my grandpa about. He was saying how this sort of event where we're all locked inside, and he was alive during a world war. How there's not been anything like this, and he was saying, he said, well, we're not relatively that old. I mean, like, he's 80 years old almost in like a month. I mean, how old are the people that live in your village for you to be 80 and consider yourself not that relatively old? I mean, it's very impressive. And what was it? I forgot where. Oh yeah, I was talking about where I was going. I was walking. Yeah, very nice chat with both my grandparents. It's always nice when they check in on you, like I checked on them last week. Yeah, so I was hopping along the pavement to Lidl, and I walked in, and there's no security guard, big high-vis jackets. There was no, heavy armed forces. So I walked in, and I bought my 30 eggs, 2 boxes of 15. That's 2 times 15, 30. Very excited. I mean, to be honest, it was going. I was looking at the one box. So I'd already put one box in my basket, and I was already content with that purchase. And I was sort of looking at a second box mischievously, unsure whether it was be greedy, unsure whether they had regulations. I went for it. I stuck it in the box carefully, because I didn't want to crack the eggs. And off I went again. There was no pasta, bought some tin fish. There was a man who had a stack of pot noodles. Respect. I mean, it's just so funny. They got like these plastic visors. I don't understand. They just have these random plastic you know, on the front, like those like small mopedy motorbikes, and they have that like vertical glass panel. People have got that on their face now. Like they have these little masks. It's like the air. Look, what there is there is air around your head with the coronavirus in it, theoretically, right? But there is also air beneath that mask with coronavirus in it, because there's no. I don't know, I don't see it doing anything. Unless someone is in your face and sneezes in your face and it's deflected off the, it all sticks to your little plastic panel on your head, then sure, it's probably effective. But other than that, I mean, it's really not doing that much. It's like when in Chernobyl, they had this completely arbitrary thing of, oh yeah, our workers can like pour water on the fire for 3 minutes, and then at 3 minutes the radiation becomes quite lethal. Like, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a full sense of security that the workers get. Anyway, I was on my way back, and what goes whizzing past me is a pizza delivery man. Okay, off he goes. He's got a green box on the back of his scooter. He's got he had a green helmet on. I don't know why he had like this green helmet on, and it had written on the front Papa John's on the front of his helmet, just above the visor, And it reminded me of like the race car drivers. For example, I'm a very big fan of Niki Lauda, and Niki Lauda has Marlboro written on his helmet. That's like real badass. And you got this dude whizzing past me, going past me with Papa John's on his helmet. It was really real funny. Anyway, I was just kind of imagining him in his head. He's kind of going, okay, now I'm gonna take this corner, go up past Wells Street. Take this corner a bit too quick. He takes the corner a bit too quick on his little moped. Bang! Oh no! The pizza's hit the side of the pizza has slammed against the. What's it? What kind of pizza could he have? He could have a plain macaroni meat feast slams against the inside of his pizza box. Oh man, he took it too quick, and he's just kind of lying to himself with his little green helmet on and his Papa John's, thinking that he's whizzing around the streets. Maybe he is. I don't know. It looks. I mean, to be fair, maybe I'm jealous because I would like to be a delivery driver. However, I have got a driving license, but they need me. I would need to be able to drive a van, and I don't know how to drive a van, and therefore I cannot be a delivery driver. Yeah, I mean, I actually haven't heard that many people complaining about the quarantine. I hear them complaining in the lines for Tesco's, of course, but I mean, other than that, people just kind of sit back and there's lots of people going for walks, dilly-dallying through the marshes with their little pup, their little dog, telling it to, come on, or being friendly with the dog. I guess these people are so deprived of human contact that they've started talking to their dogs. That's fine. I'm not walking the dog today because somebody else is. Not my dog, is a dog that I know. So I haven't got all that much to do. That's why I'm doing a podcast every day. It's quite fun. I mean, I've realised the importance recently. I've really realised the importance of everything you do in your past, anything that you seem like wasn't really helpful to learn it probably does so much good for you. I in year 8 I had a Minecraft YouTube channel, and I taught myself how to use Microsoft Movie Maker. I don't know if it's Microsoft, but I taught myself how to use Movie Maker, a little editing thing to make my Minecraft YouTube videos, my Minecraft montages, etc. And now I use that to help edit my podcast, make my little clips of my stand up on YouTube. So everything you do, you never really waste your time when you learn a new skill, even if, I guess I've contradicted myself because I've used that skill. But I think just practicing learning things is very, very important for your development. Fun fact, actually, when me and my friend, one time we were feeding a bit cheeky, and we've been running. Well, there's this kind of like industrial area near Westfield, near the Hackney Marshes, and we've been kind of running along these pipes that go over the canals, and we've been hopping about the place. And anyway, I shouldn't tell the story. Basically, we got in a little bit of trouble, and I ended up telling a policeman about my Minecraft YouTube channel before they let us go. But it was all friendly, and well, it wasn't friendly for about 20 minutes, but then after 5 minutes of friendliness at the end there. So it was a 4-to-1 ratio of unfriendliness to friendliness. But it was never really that unfriendly, I must add. It was fine. It's definitely exciting and worth doing, because we weren't actually doing anything bad. It just okay. Let me clarify. It seemed like we were doing something bad, but we actually weren't. We were just oblivious to how bad it looked from the outside. There was no harm done to anyone. Yeah. I need to go for a walk. I've really been enjoying writing poetry. It's really relaxing, I find. I had this idea where, what was it? Oh yeah, so I was walking through a council, just through an estate recently, and I saw that there was like this really big tree, and this really big tree had really beautiful leaves, and it was just starting to sprout this season, and I looked at the tree, and I was thinking, wow, this tree's so beautiful, and it looks exactly the same as the trees at the marshes, who have the big expansive meadows, and they have all the little middle class people wandering on past, chatting about their tea and coffee, and which coffee shops are the most fun, and oh yeah, that one's got a little game section. I know. That kind of thing. And oh yeah, well, that barrister, that barrister's really funny, because when he makes my tea, he puts a little swirl in it. Yeah, I know, I don't even pay him extra. All that kind of conversation. Anyway, so those are the trees in the marshes, and they look beautiful. And this tree here on the estate, and the housing estate, also look beautiful. And it shows me that, trees, wherever you plant them, they're still going to grow to be the best tree they can be. Right? They're still going to be a tree. They don't know that they're in a housing estate, and they don't really mind. It doesn't bother them. So maybe we should be a bit more like that. We should try and care less about our environment and what position we're in, and just do our best to produce leaves and produce fruit and plant seeds for other trees to do the same. Okay, a little bit more of philosophy. It's quite stoic. I mean, yeah. Well, the reason I go for walks is because I'm getting stinky this quarantine. I really have. I haven't been showering all that much, but I quite enjoy it. It makes you feel a little bit closer to nature, like a 21st century caveman. Coming out of my bedroom, stinking, sitting on my podcast, chat rubbish, 15 minutes, load of rubbish, leave the house, go for a walk, no one gets near me, come home stinking, go up to my room, read a book, stinking. It's all quite fun, really. Yeah, man, that Papa John's delivery guy, I think I laughed when I was walking down the street. He thinks he hears in his ear, he thinks he hears, kind of like, step on it. But it's actually just two kids on the pavement. There's a bug walking past. But, he heard the kids, but, he told himself that it was his race leader telling him that he was 3 seconds behind the world record on that track. But actually all that ended up happening is that the light went red. And what you do at red lights when you're Papa John's delivery drivers is he had to stop, poor guy. So there you go, he stopped. The engine died down. He put his leg down to stabilise himself, and he checked his app to make sure he's going in the right direction. Not in life, just geographically. He had to make sure geographically he's going in the right direction. In life, he may. I don't think he's getting closer to God or nature by driving that Papa John's motorbike, but maybe he thinks. It's like that I love the Louis C.K. He thinks. It's the he's talking about. I'm not going to do the bit, but he's talking about how he would give his seat on an airplane to a soldier, because the soldier he's fighting for his country, and his country needs him. He thinks, and it's just so well done. Louis C.K. pretty good. I want to see his new Netflix. I can't wait for it. Well, I want to see his latest special when it comes out, and see if he's can he be so funny that no one gives a fuck that he is a sexual predator. That's the real challenge as a comedian. That's the ultimate skill level, which I hope no one ever has to try and prove to themselves. Anyway, everyone, it was lovely to speak to you, and catch you later. Goodbye.